One of the criticisms I oftentimes get is that I take things far too seriously here on YouTube. I take what I do here very seriously. I take my reporting very seriously, and I have trouble with a lot of channels that don't because I feel like they mislead the audience more often than not. But there are some times where I feel it is worthy discussing a theory because I think there is some basis in reality for the one I'm going to bring to your attention. Now, Sonic the Hedgehog has been a very interesting film to watch unfold. It's been a very interesting week to see the reaction to the teaser trailer because it was a bad trailer. The response to this was very much warranted, and a lot of people out there outright tore it apart with good reason. But it wasn't like we didn't already know that this was going to be an epic shit show. We already knew this was going to be bad. By the way, I want to take you back to this article from February 10th, 2016, over 2 years ago, which is when the first announcement came for Sonic the Hedgehog, the movie. Now, this is coming from NintendoLife.com, written by Damian McFerrin. Now, the article says here that Sega Sammy Group is currently planning with Sony Pictures to create a live-action and animation hybrid Sonic the Hedgehog movie scheduled for release in 2018. Like with this CG animation production, we would like to expand our business into other entertainment areas beyond what we are currently involved in. So basically saying, hey, we want to jump into the movie realm. We're going to do it with this live action CGI hybrid of Sonic the Hedgehog. And the responses in this particular comment section, Rupee Clock here saying live action, oh Lord, no. Fidu saying, oh boy. Kokub saying live action CG hybrid. Example of any good ones here? Switch Vogel saying, honestly, I don't think an animated movie would be that bad. The cutscenes from the past few games have all had that Saturday cartoon feeling to them. I'm sure they could find a way to make this work for them. But then Nomad here says, live action and CGI, no thank you, just CGI would be just fine. And to be fair, Nomad is right. This is CGI, but this is bad CGI. This is very bad CGI. People don't want Sonic to look like that. People want Sonic to look like this. And yesterday it was announced by Jeff Fowler that yes, they would in fact be changing up the design of Sonic in order to appease the fans who had the backlash on the internet. As I covered last night, this is what Jeff Fowler had to say. Thank you for the support and the criticism. The message is loud and clear. You aren't happy with the design and you want changes. It's going to happen. Everyone at Paramount and Sega are fully committed to making this character the best he can be. Hashtag Sonic movie. Hashtag gotta fix it fast. Now, I got to thinking about this last night after I reported on it. I got to thinking about what this means. Now, well, you know what? I'm going to explain. I'm going to let someone else explain it in a way that I do feel is succinctly put, but albeit plays exactly into to the theory I'm going to lay out there. This is Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers. You might have heard of him here on YouTube. He's got a lot of subscribers, blown up a lot in the last year, and he's very much a reactionary, like a supreme reactionary. It's funny to watch him get worked up over the littlest things, and then get his audience worked up over them as well. But this is a good tweet because this exemplifies everything Jeremy is as a commentator on the internet, saying Sonic trailer gets destroyed by the internet. Sonic director, we hear your voices and we will fix it. This is all we ever asked for. Pray emoji. The Last Jedi gets destroyed by the internet. Ryan Johnson, you're all just racist and sexist man babies. This is why we hate you, Lucasfilm. Now, there's a reason why Jeremy's post has gotten 713 retweets and 2,700 likes, because ultimately it is a good tweet. I'm not going to give him credit. I'm not going to deny him the credit on this one. That's a good tweet. But like I said, it really does play up to what I feel is the whole situation with Paramount and Blur Studios, Tim Miller, Sega, and Jeff Fowler. So let me just kind of put it to you guys like this. It goes back to 2016. We know that Blur Studios was hired for Tim Miller to produce the Sonic the Hedgehog movie. Jeff Fowler was brought in to direct it. Now, Tim Miller, you know from Deadpool. And keep in mind that the announcement of this came simply 6 days before Deadpool hit theaters when it was at its all-time high in regards to marketing. So that was a big push for Sonic coming in on the Deadpool heels, and the movie delivered, so people were excited to see what Tim Miller would bring to the table. Blur Studios is a visual effects company that did a lot of work for The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. They did the opening credit sequence. They did the opening credit sequence for Thor. They did all the visual effects for Deadpool. They've done visual effects for multiple films, and Tim Miller and Jeff Fowler were nominated for an Academy Award for Best Animated Short in 2005, I believe, with Go for Broke. So they are clearly accredited, knowledgeable filmmakers who deal in animation. So then the question becomes, what the hell is that thing? Why is that thing a reality? How did that happen? Well, there are many things that maybe led to that. The rumored production budget, according to Wikipedia, is $90 million, and the movie was originally announced to be working with Sony to release it. But when that ended up falling through and the picture went into turnaround, Paramount came in and scooped it up. So they started filming the movie last year in Vancouver, British Columbia, and it would have already had the established visual effects looks throughout the pre-concept art by the time it even went into production. Again, that's a reality. So somebody along the way at Sega, at Paramount, Tim Miller, who is a known visual effects artist, who did a bunch of work for DC Universe, directing some of their shorts that are amazing, and being very character specific in regards to the animation that he did in the test footage for Deadpool in 2014. How did it ever get to this point? Well, I think it was all done on purpose. I think the trailer we saw the other day was done on purpose. I think it was designed to look incredibly terrible in order to generate a massive negative reaction, in order to get this type of tweet put out there by a person who would normally spend 15 to 20 videos in the span of a day criticizing the movie if it made him enough money to come out there and say, this is all we wanted, to appease someone like Jeremy. And I believe that's the case. And I say that not to insult Jeremy. He's playing his game and that's fine. But it's to speak to a lot of fans. There are fans out there who are dedicated to Sonic, have been for over 20 years. And they want Sonic not to look like this, but to look like he would normally. So here's my theory. They make the trailer, they release it. It's terrible. It is god awful. They come back out a couple days later and say, we've heard you, we're going to fix it. They have until November for the movie to come out. They're obviously going to hold off on any footage until Comic-Con and Hall H sometime in July or middle July, and they want to make sure that they've got it ready to go by then. Now, think of it like this. And this is a gamble, by the way, it's a massive gamble, but every movie is designed to make money. Paramount is in no position to release a bad movie. They've had a bad couple years. This has been known. This has been talked about extensively. So if you're going to put out a Sonic the Hedgehog movie, which is a very, very, very beloved an adaptation of a very beloved character, you're going to want to make it look as good as possible. When you've got the people behind Deadpool that are doing the visual effects, that are Oscar-nominated animators, that are fully aware of how these things play out, why would it look like that? No one in their right mind would sign off on something for this type of film. It's because everything involving that is not what it was supposed to be. I think it was supposed to be, I think they've already got the designs made up, and I think they made this look as bad as it did to spark controversy. Why? Because you keep talking about it. Remember a few months ago when the first teaser poster dropped and everyone was going into like full-on Sherlock Holmes mode with Photoshop and trying to make it look better or try to figure out exactly what it looks like, and everyone's talking about it and they're building up massive buzz? Yeah, that's the reason. They dropped the trailer, everyone shits on it. I mean, to the tune of like Young Ye got like 2 million views on a video about the internet fixing Sonic. That means 2 million people watched that video, and it went up over 1 million views in a day. 2 million people watched that video, and then they were like, oh man, it'd be so great if they made Sonic look like this. And then all of a sudden the director comes out and says, we've heard you, we're going to fix it. As far as marketing goes on these kind of movies, you can't get better marketing. You can't get better exposure. You can't get better word of mouth. Because at this point in time, the conversation is, God, did you see the terrible Sonic the Hedgehog trailer? Did you see how god awful that is? And they're like, oh yeah, man, I'm not even going to go see the movie. I might see it when it hits Netflix, blah, 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 blah. $90 million flushed down the drain. Paramount can't handle that right now. They need the cash. But you release something that looks terrible. And I said, it's a gamble because it may or may not work. You release something that looks terrible. You put it out there, everyone gets mad, you fix it. Everyone who would be a reactionary comes out and says, thank you, that's all we wanted. And then now you look like the hero and can coast in to maybe a $90 million payout, right? You've already got the fans now associating it with positive word of mouth. And that goes further than any kind of ad campaign. It's like I said, it's a gamble because it may or may not work. It may or may not work, but it paid off here. Everyone who's a diehard Sonic fan, like I mentioned this before, my younger brother, diehard Sonic fan. And I asked my dad, what did he think of the trailer? And he's like, he doesn't know how to handle it. He doesn't have thoughts on it. It's too damn weird. And that's my younger brother, who is huge into Sonic. But now my younger brother could say, and I haven't talked about this yet, but he could say, oh man, now I'm excited to see the movie because they're going to change it. Instantly changes the conversation to the positive. It is, if this is the case, and keep in mind, Tim Miller worked on Deadpool, which had one of the most convincing marketing campaigns, and I have a feeling he was directly involved in that. If they pulled the same kind of marketing that they pulled with Deadpool, where they just hit you with this thing that you're not even expecting, and they continuously tease the redesign and tease Sonic and make it look like, if not a good movie, but a passable movie, a fun movie, and at least a character adept adaptation or a character correct adaptation, then they find themselves in a position where come November, they can actually take on Frozen 2. They can take on whatever else is dropping in that month. They can take on these movies and turn a profit. And if they get the diehard fans on board, the diehard fans are going to be the ones that are going to see it multiple times, which means more money. And then they're going to take their friends and so on and so forth and buy the merchandise and buy the movie when it comes out on home video and maybe a video game tie-in if they're even doing that. I have no idea. But it goes on and on and on and on and on. If I am right, and again, I could be wrong, but if I am right, my God, it is the most brilliant marketing play that we've seen in the past 10 years. Because they're taking the outrage machine of the internet and they're turning it on its ear. And then they're giving them what they want so they have nothing to be mad about. And then they sing their praises. Think about that for a second. How awesome would it be if that's the case? And I think if you think about it quite a bit, you might think I'm onto something. And I could be wrong. They could literally have screwed up this badly. They could have. They entirely could have, but I don't think they did. These are it's too big of a property to screw up that badly. It's too big of a budget to screw up that badly. It is something that no one would sign off on who wanted to make money, who would even remotely understand the industry where it is right now, the adaptations of video games, all the stigma that's attached to it. There is literally no way they would have let it get as bad as it did unless it was deliberate. That's my theory. Curious to know your thoughts and your opinions. Let me know down in the comments below. I'll talk to you guys later. Have yourself a great day and peace out. Hey, thank you very much for making it to this point in the video. I really appreciate it. If you want to support the channel, you can always toss a like, or if you want to go a step further, why not check out patreon.com/MattJarbo, where you can support the channel directly. For just a few dollars a month, you get access to our private Discord and our private Facebook group, where we talk about movies 24/7, as well as a lot of new stuff coming throughout 2019. Thank you guys again very much. Have yourself a great day and peace out.